Turn back eye. The greatest NBA video game of all time. Y'all already know what it is. What is it? 3 seconds. 2K11.
Took flight.
It
rose above all. He changed the game. And became a legend.
The GOAT, though. Still to this day, it will never change, nickel.
It's pretty fitting that
before he even started the video. Oh, bro, the video ain't even started. You already gonna pause and start talking. Bro, calm down, bro. But yeah, though. 2K11, man. That was already legendary. How you turn the game and they start off with that, man. Nostalgic. But yeah.
That Michael Jordan was on the cover of the greatest NBA 2K game. Now, I can see the argument for any 2K from 2K11 through 16 being the best, but when you look at the impact, the hype,
and
the overall package 2K11 brought to the table in October of 2010,
at least the
I don't see how it can be topped. Of course, over a decade later, the gameplay and graphics of 2K11 are outdated, and it's missing some popular additions that were later added in other 2K games, such as Park and My Team. But when you look at 2K11 in its prime, when the game was the newest and greatest basketball game that had ever released, the energy surrounding the game has yet to be replicated by another 2K release since. This is the game that ended NBA Live's chances at market control. This is the game that took my player to the next level. The first 2K to have classic teams and players. Gameplay that revolutionized basketball video games. No VC, no microtransactions. A legendary soundtrack. The game that built the foundation for 2K's rise to the top. This is the NBA 2K game that left behind a legacy.
Y'all know the little
NBA 2K11 laid down the groundwork for 2K.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. This little Shawn Michael, when he used to, don't worry about it, y'all. See, I always get sidetracked.
Domination. This was the same year EA released NBA Elite 11. The bar really wasn't that high at all. If 2K simply took NBA 2K10, a great game in its own right, and updated the rosters, 2K11 would have still been a massive success. However, even without real 2K simply took NBA 2K10, a great game in its own right, and updated the rosters, 2K11 would have still been a massive success. However, even without real competition, Visual Concepts took it upon themselves to innovate further and push the envelope of what a basketball game could be. Operation Sports.
I don't even think they work with 2K no more, do they?
Voted NBA 2K11 as the greatest sports video game of the decade, noting that NBA 2K11 was a turning point for basketball video games. It was simultaneously the beginning of the end for the NBA Live series and the start of the true rise of the NBA 2K series. It was the game where people seemed to realize that NBA 2K was not just out there to make the next yearly basketball game, but rather to become a series that was a love letter to the NBA as a whole. In an era where sports games feel regurgitated and simply like a roster update year after year, 2K11 just felt different. This is noticeable from your first time booting up the game. It throws you into Michael Jordan's first appearance in the NBA Finals, going against a dominant Lakers team led by Magic Johnson. This game felt like a time capsule of NBA history. It wasn't just a video game. It was an experience. Unprecedented at the time, the game featured classic teams that were actually licensed. In older sports games, historic teams did exist, but they usually had generic players filling up the teams. 2K11 actually got the rights to most of the players making up these teams, got their faces scanned into the game, and immortalized these teams forever, allowing people to experience an older era of the sport in a way that most would have never seen coming at the time. This is a feature many take for granted today, as NBA 2K continuously seems to add new historic teams almost every year, but 2K11 introducing classic teams for the first time was a game changer. The game's featured mode was the Jordan Challenge mode, where players could play through the most iconic moments in Michael Jordan's career.
No, I ain't gonna lie. The older 2Ks, I'm just like thinking about it. Man, it was just such a beautiful time, man. Just the way the players moved and like just to shoot the ball and the hoop and whatever. Like you're just imagine you playing like an older 2K around like 2K11. Like just imagine like dribbling, moving, and shooting the ball. Like, don't that shit feel so like nostalgic, cool? Like it make me want to just upload. I'm finna see if the PS5 got like when I'm done. I'm gonna see if they got 2K. I might have to go. The way it just moved, it just felt so crazy. You know what I'm saying? So like, man, like it felt.
Not only did each moment have accurate teams and players, but those players actually looked and played like their real-life counterparts did. These historic players had their own signature animations that brought them to life. Anyone who watched basketball in the 80s or 90s would have immediately been able to tell you who was who. The commentary and presentation was another insane detail. The announcers would actually talk throughout each moment as if it was happening in real time. Doris Burke would mention that a certain player who actually missed that specific game due to injury couldn't play that night. Kevin Harlan would mention Jordan's specific struggles against a certain team or player, or talk about matchups to watch. If you actually made 6 threes against the
that's the shit I be talking about. It's the little shit it's the little shit.
Trailblazers, Jordan's player model would actually shrug. Playing these moments made you feel like you were actually there.
I mean, the shrug happened
in that era, and it was magical. It's just one small feature that makes 2K11 so great, but it really did push the genre forward. Sports games could be more than just a mere video game. They could be time machines. The Jordan Challenge was actually pretty difficult too, which made the player respect just how insane Michael Jordan was in his prime. It wasn't easy to average 11 assists over an entire NBA Finals series, or drop 69 points on the Cavaliers. Other 2K games have had similar modes before, and NBA 2K23 actually recreated the Jordan Challenge from this game.
But I like what 2K23 did with the little old school effect. That was hard. You gotta give 23. You gotta give it. That was good.
2K11 was the first 2K to have such a mode. The hype behind this game and game mode was insane, as this was the first 2K game to have Michael Jordan in the game since he retired. An expected afterthought today, seeing MJ along with Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Patrick Ewing, and Karl Malone recreated in a video game for the first time ever was special. After completing the 10 challenges, you unlock a rookie Michael Jordan you can actually use in My Player, and you can then see how Michael Jordan's career...
I mean, 2K9, they did have like the old school All-Star team. They did. Okay.
Could have turned out if he joined the NBA in 2010. Speaking of My Player, this was the second year of the game mode, as 2K10 introduced the game-changing career mode in the previous year. Not much had changed, but compared to the grand, annoying movie like My Career we see today, it's almost refreshing to go back and play this older version. It's simple and to the point. You start out as a D-League scrub, and you work your way through your career, trying to leave the best legacy you can. You won't be locked into long cutscenes with bad acting, you won't be forced to live a life outside of basketball, and you won't find the mode to be a tedious grind meant to push you into buying...
I got a conspiracy... I don't even want to say that. But I got a CT. I don't know if we're really supposed to say the word. I don't even want to make it sound like it. I just think it's just something factual. And it's like some scary shit. But it's not scary, but like, I don't know. It makes you think. I think... Let's get more into the vid. I'll tell y'all.
DC. Instead, you'll find that the mode existed for one reason, to be fun. Don't get me wrong, it was still a deep game mode, especially compared to any other sports game at the time. Post-game press conferences meant something, as certain answers could lead to teammates refusing to pass you the ball, or even the crowd chanting, "Trade him." But it wasn't just full of flashy filler.
Oh yeah, another thing I remember, like, you could answer more aggressive back in the day, like, on the newer game, my career, like, you had more aggressive, like, I ain't felt no aggression towards any answer this year. It's just so, like, censored, bro. I got my say at the end.
It
I'm
was
not gonna
just
forget.
basketball,
I
and I
think it's
think a lot of
facts.
people today would
Y'all agree
prefer
with me
that.
too.
A game mode connected to MyPlayer that was exclusive to 2K11 was the Crew mode, allowing users to team up with other MyPlayers online, create a team, and play online against other crews. I've heard that people miss this Crew mode a lot, as it was kind of like Pro-Am, but with better matchmaking and more control over how your team's roster is filled out. The Association mode was the game's My League or Franchise mode, or now known as My NBA, and it was super deep for the time. In fact, NBA 2K11's Association mode is deeper than the franchise mode of any 2020 sports game besides 2K. From Madden to FIFA to NHL to MLB The Show. 2K was so ahead of the curve back then. With NBA Elite 11 cancelled, NBA Live fans who bought the game and stumbled upon this mode must have been amazed at the level of detail, depth, and immersion. You could control and play through the D-League, now called the G-League obviously. You had complete stat tracking from the Hall of Fame to team records to player records to league records. The game mode was an NBA database that grew with your own fictional universe.
It's crazy how like you could forget about the D League so fast. Like I'm so used to that G League, and it's like you know how you some company big company changed something up, and it's like you still call it the old company name, but it was so easy to switch over to G League. Some reality that was just like a little side.
Presentation of 2K11 was fantastic as well. While EA held the ESPN license that they took from 2K back in 2004, 2K delivered a better and more realistic presentation with a TNT-inspired broadcast. The crowd stands up and reacts during intense moments. The sideline reporting adds immersion and storylines to the game, while Harlan and Kellogg do a great job at sounding authentic. The halftime show was phenomenal. If you
Freak out! Now that is some freaky good grips. Freak out! Little Caesar's Detroit-style deep dish that's actually from Detroit, with caramelized crispy cheese edges. Pizza, pizza.
If you were playing 2K11 and someone walked into the room back in 2010, they might have thought they were watching a real game. Of course, 2K's presentation has improved since 2K11, but this game again set that foundation. It blew away the competition at the
time. They
time.
even show vertical number. Y'all remember when nigga used to dunk the ball and show you how the person used to jump? I used to be so excited when you randomly catch like a 50, 60-inch vertical off a like that. It just I'm gonna tell y'all what I think 2K what happened to 2K, man. I'm gonna tell y'all, man. I just don't want to spoil it.
Gameplay was a massive improvement over 2K10.
I might have to make
Defense was overhauled completely, and it shows. This game wasn't as easy as people were used to. You couldn't simply hold sprint and drive to the rim like you could in 2K10 or NBA Live 10. You had to play basketball by passing the ball, setting screens, and using plays to get an open shot. If you didn't know how to run a playbook, you better play on Rookie. Even playing this game today, the AI awareness of the defenders is impressive. This was the first 2K to put pick and roll on the left bumper rather than on a face button, which was a lot smoother. The game released with 10,000 new animations, and almost every player had their own signature ones. Player movement and momentum was fluid, realistic, and fun. And while the gameplay may feel aged today, for its time it was incredible. The game's soundtrack was also amazing. And this is pretty much unanimous, from hits like Over by Drake to hype music like Serious by the Alan Parsons Project to underrated catchy songs like So Far by the Redland. This soundtrack slapped. It wouldn't be a great sports game without a great soundtrack, and in the description I even put a link to the playlist of this soundtrack if you want to check it out. A few other features in this game were the Situation Mode, which is a game mode I wish we saw in current sports games. This mode allowed you to pick two teams and create a scenario to jump into. You'd set the score, time left, etc., and then jump in and play it over and over.
Oh, shit. I know what he's talking about. Damn. I remember doing that shit before. Like, I remember doing a little 1 minute thing, just putting the game 1 minute a quarter, just from the rushes. I think they still probably got that now, but I remember this shit right here. I know what you're talking about, yeah. You should put the score on something random, you just try to hit a game. I remember this. Hey, that's crazy. That's crazy.
And over. The game also had a cool feature where after each game, you'd see a slideshow of screenshots the game took for you, showing the best moments from the game in cool camera angles. Beating someone online and then sending them the screenshot of you posterizing them was insane. 2K11 also featured full team customization, which was very in-depth for
I mean, I guess that's what my team is, where you get to choose your own jersey and do all the other shit. I guess that's what it is for my team. But damn, I do remember that too. The whole custom team shit, when you just build a team, you just put a player in there, you create more. I remember that shit, man. That was crazy.
2010.
Was Ronnie 2K
Later
working
2Ks
with
have
2K
improved
back then?
upon this by allowing users to upload any image into the game for logos. But having a team creation suite in the first place is something that's easy to take for granted. In 2K11, having it in the game is worth noting. NBA 2K11 set the stage for one of the most impressive runs in the history of sports video games. From 2K11 to 2K16, 2K was pushing the bar higher and higher, and creating games that were actually worth the upgrade every year. Where other sports games were busy reinventing the wheel and losing features, 2K started building upon a foundation that only grew stronger year after year. Today's 2K games, like the recently released NBA 2K23, may be riddled with microtransactions, but the core game itself is so much deeper than any other sports game on the market. And that's something you can thank NBA 2K11 for, as it set up the foundation for all future 2Ks. Michael Jordan was the perfect cover athlete for 2K11, because like MJ, 2K11 was the best. For its time, the gameplay was incredible, the game modes were deep and fleshed out, and the new features and innovations took the game from great to legendary. It was everything you wanted in a sports game, and then some. NBA 2K11 wasn't just a video game. It was an NBA experience created by people who loved basketball. We may never see, again, the same type of drive and passion in the creation of a sports game that Visual Concepts showed in 2K11. Like Jordan, the game has aged, but no one can deny that in its prime, the game was the best, the greatest of all time. Thanks for watching.
Hey man, do y'all agree with what he said though, man? Shout out Soft Drink TV. That was a good vid, man. Keep it up, man. Keep uploading, dog. But here's my take. What happened to 2K? I think 2K sold out. I think a lot of these games sold out. I don't know what it is. I think 2K sold out though. I know that might be crazy. I think they did, bro. They probably not gonna say it, bring it up. Was Ronnie 2K even working with 2K when the 2K11 came out? Probably not. When the fuck did Ronnie hop on the scene? Like, you gotta think about 2K what it was before to now. They had all type of crazy shit. Then over here just got more corny and corny and corny and corny. You know what I'm saying? Like, the storyline corny. It's like a kid will fall. It's like they made storyline for the kids or something. I don't know what it is, but it's like it's corny as hell. Like, we grown ass man playing, looking at this shit like, really, nigga? Really? You know what I'm saying? Like, the really nigga mean, right? Like, bro, what the fuck, bro? Like, and, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's sold out. It's like, when you really look back, like, even the last good story I can remember was the one with 2K17 storyline. I didn't play 18 for real to know. That's the last one I remember. I like the 17 storyline. I know B First probably annoying to y'all. I fuck with Michael B. Jordan. The point is, it just got corny as fuck, bro. It's like, it's too corny now. You know what I'm saying? And I think I said it sold out because, like, why they charge so much VCs? Like, they in it for the money. It's not about the quality no more. It's not about how good can we make this game or the quantity. It's not about quality and quantity no more. It's about how much money can we get out of our people. It's turned into that type of thing. It's turned into some backstabbing. It's like, we're gonna give y'all this good work now, and later on, usually in a while, we're gonna come back and say fuck y'all. You know, that's what I feel like happened. But